here. I'm at the Nissan. Um, I dumped a gallon of Marvel Mystery Oil down in this thing because of how sludged up it was. And remember the situation here. This motor supposedly had been taken care of. It's got 35,000 miles on it. And my buddy went to Nissan to have it taken care of because the motor started making all kinds of noise. And when they pulled the valve covers off over here, he sent me the pictures and it was ungodly, man. It was just, the valve covers were completely full of nothing but sludge, top and bottom. So last night I came out here and I dumped a bunch of Marvel Mystery Oil, Mystery Marvel Oil, whatever, however the hell you, MMO. And I filled it up, I got it down in the pan, I let it sit for a while, and now I'm back out here today and I see that it's actually been leaking a little bit because when Nissan put the lower pan, when they put the lower pan back up on the motor, they didn't put all the bolts in all the way around. So it's not tight enough on the back of the pan, so it's slowly dripping out. And I was hoping I could keep that mystery oil in there overnight and soften some of that stuff up and start dissolving some of that stuff so I could get it out of there. But my goal here today is to make it from this spot here into the shop there so I can start pulling the pan, cleaning everything out from in the valve covers, running the BG restoration kit through it. And I didn't realize they didn't even put oil back in this thing when they were done inspecting it. They did nothing at all. They just, I mean, I can't say they did nothing. I take that back. I apologize. They did put the valve covers and stuff back on it, but they didn't secure the lower oil pan like they were supposed to. So I've got a gallon of whatever leaked out of there of the mystery oil, and now I'm gonna go ahead and try to top off with some heavier duty stabilizer. Just because that stuff is so thin, I wanted to get an abundance of it in there, but I also wanted to get some decent oil in there with it as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump this Lucas oil stabilizer. I guess they say if you talk to people that have been dealing with oil and stuff a while, when they send it off to Blackstone Labs, they say there's really no protection in the Lucas oil stabilizer at all. It's just basically a 50 weight oil, and there's no additive package really there. The reason it stabilizes is because it actually thickens the oil up, and that's actually what makes everything quieter. So I figured with me dumping so much of that Marvel Mystery Oil in there, that I better put something thicker in there to mix with it, because it's more like a 5 weight oil, and when you put something that thin into a motor and then try to run it, you're asking for problems. So at least I get some of that, get it thicker, drop some regular oil and stuff in there with it. So I'm gonna let this sit here and drain into this, and I'm gonna go over here, get the rest. I brought a half a gallon of oil with me just in case I needed more. What it was left over from that SuperTech 20,000 mile full synthetic stuff. And boys back there moving their yard around because people are coming in here and doing construction during the day. That boy's getting it, baby. He's getting it. This motor hadn't been started in a few years. I just hooked the battery up. We got inside lights now, and I thought for sure the alarm would start going off, but the alarm didn't even go off in it. Once I know I've got a little bit of oil in here, I've got enough oil to get this thing running, we're gonna try to start it up and make an attempt. I don't even know if the brakes are gonna work. Make an attempt to get it in the shop so I can at least kind of see what I'm dealing with here. No, you're live right now. This video is live. It's not pre-recorded. Yeah, I'm gonna get all this cleaned up for him real good. My buddy's he's a payer. He don't shortchange his friends just because, you know, you're friends or whatever, or you do favors for him. He's one that actually believes in, if you do good work for me, I don't care how close we are or how much I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna pay you good, and then I'm going to pay you better than good. He's one of those guys that just make sure you never walk away from him thinking, do I ever want to do work for that guy again? He's just one of those guys that just, I don't want anybody to ever think that way of me. They're going to get taken care of very well. So he just gave it to me and said, do what you got to do. Good evening. All right, so this stuff is in there. I don't want to put this down anywhere and then get more stuff all over the ground, so that's going to be a full street machine right there. It's a 90 or 91 Explorer, and the young guy that dropped it off had it all painted from front to back, had all the rust taken out of the vehicle, everything. And then once he had all the work done to it and painted, he was like, you know what, I'm just going to even take the metal and stuff off of it, and I'm just going to put fiberglass door kits and stuff on it, so this can be a full-blown twin turbocharged street machine. Yeah, it's going to be pretty nice when it's done. All right, let's go back out here, see what the oil level's at. Yep, my lift is done. The lift next to it's done, and then there's another lift put in a couple bays down. All right, so I'm gonna have to set the phone here kind of weird. I don't know. Can I do that? Can you guys still see right there? I don't want to cut you out of anything. Hopefully you can see right there, because I got you sitting up against the front of the radiator support. All right, so I'm gonna pull the dipstick now. It's down here next to the funnel. Oh, I knew I shouldn't start. All right, well, let's see what we're at. Well, it don't even look like we're actually on the dipstick at all, really. Let's see again. One more again. Yeah, there ain't really. There's nothing on there, so we're gonna have to drop some oil in there with it. That's even if that Marvel Mystery Oil is making its way down in there. I mean, I know there's still some in there, but you know, you may get that that Lucas may get jammed up in that head with how much sludge and stuff is in there, and it may not even make it down there all the way until it heats up. Okay, we're starting to show oil right there on the end of the dipstick a little bit. So we're starting to get some buildup right there at the end of the dipstick. I'm gonna keep going. All I'm looking to do is get it in the shop. Oh yeah, we got oil. It's right at the lower dot, so it could probably take about one more quart. It's right about here right now, right there. I'm just gonna dump the rest of this gallon in there. Screw it. Let it ride, right? Okay. See where we're at now? Let's see where we're at. Come on, stop moving, you Parkinson's. All right, we're halfway up that stick right there. It's about right in the middle. You can't pick it up on camera, so let's just start it. Let's see what happens. Remember, this thing ain't been started in a couple years. Yeah, we'll see about that. If we're doing a short block, we're not doing a short block. We're going to do a whole motor. We ain't putting a block in it because Nissan doesn't want to do it under warranty, and I definitely ain't going to tear this thing apart and rebuild it. We'll find one with, 15, 20,000 miles on it, and I'll just swap the motor. What's up? Yeah, I'm live streaming right now. Yeah.
I was going to ask, how come the Bluetooth doesn't want to work on a Ford?
On yours?
Yeah.
You probably got some master reset for the plus. In the general settings, the little sprocket. There's a little sprocket, and then you go to the bottom of settings, and right at the bottom of it says master reset. Sometimes you have to wipe everything out.
You talk about on the dash, like the GPS, all that?
Yeah.
On that?
Well, in the screen?
Yes, in that screen.
Well, then it's probably the apron. Yeah, except for protocol interface model. Okay. If it starts acting up, that's what we have to do to get the customer's Bluetooth back on.
Yeah, it shuts off. It became like sporadic where all of a sudden it shut off, and all of a sudden. So I got to replace the whole.
If you want me to come here and do it for you, I can, because all I'll have to do is, if you get it, I'll.
Well, what's the part cost? All that? That's the whole GPS. Now I might as well update to the new sync then at that point. Because it's a whole new it's coming out to over $1,000 just for
new
that.
Data, well, you're talking about the newest programming for sync, or like the new screen?
The whole new screen at that point, it'll come out about only be a few $100s.
So my software won't do it.
I got the program on the computer.
Yeah, like yes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could. It's up to you. I could do it for you. Just do it because I'm done.
But you got to replace the module.
You take you got to take the speaker on top. It's in the middle of the dash.
Yeah.
You got to pop it up, and there's 2 7 mils, and then that whole center part in the back will actually release. But in the front, once you pull the face away, there's 2 screws right there.
And that's that whole computer. That's over $1,000.
It's about $600-700 for the actual module behind the screen itself.
Oh, okay. So
there's the front display screen, and then right behind.
But that's that whole sync thing. That's why it's.
And every time that's what it comes out.
So you had that happen a lot of times.
That's the #1 problem. That's why the most customers are the most upset with that more than anything. Because why am I having to put $600 into a truck that's 3 or 4 years old?
Plus, yeah, just to get Bluetooth working. Yeah. That's the only thing.
Their calls drop, their Bluetooth drops, and then sometimes they can hear people, but people can't hear them.
Mine was just disconnecting. Like every time I have to pair my phone again.
Yeah.
Then eventually I couldn't pair anymore.
And then sometimes the phone, if people don't keep it up to date.
No, I tried everything. I did the thing. I turned off the battery, left the battery sitting. I did the reset on the screen. I took it with that whatever that program that you called that for. I got that. I did a reset on that. I don't know what more to do.
It's super easy to do. Me or you, either one could be done.
Well, the easy part, but paying $600 just for
Bluetooth. And then when you call the company up that gets you the APIM, good luck. Because they'll be like, you know what, thanks for the information and stuff, let us put it in our computer and we'll have one of our sales reps call you by tomorrow afternoon with a price on what it's going to cost you. And it could go from $550 overnight to $700 the next day, depending on how many techs or dealerships or whoever it is. Because they're the one that controls it.
That was my worst case scenario that I was thinking that was going to have to be done.
That 99.9% of the time, after you've done all the easy stuff, it's the module.
I've done all the easy stuff.
Yeah, it's the module. I'm gonna try to get it started. It hasn't been started in 2 years.
Your live stream?
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to they wanted to be part of this vehicle hasn't started in 2 years. What's going on? Well, he took it to Nissan. The motor's sludged. The heads are gone. They're full of sludge. The oil pan's full of sludge. But Nissan was like, well, because of your service records and stuff like that. And he's like, what are you talking about? This is a vehicle that only runs on the highway. I don't run this short trips. I don't just let it idle. I only run it on the highway to and from. You're not going to cover my motor? I got a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Here's all the oil receipts. Here's all the oil.
They didn't want to cover?
Nothing.
Why?
They said
Because it wasn't done through Nissan?
that's what they said. They gave him the runaround, and they're like, we're not covering it. So when he looked into what he could do, they were like,
did they ask for an oil sample as well, or?
No, they just said flat out. And here's another thing that most people don't talk about. I called up 3 different Nissan dealerships, and all 3 dealerships all said we can't service anything above a 2500. And I said, why? Well, because we don't have any certified heavy-duty technicians. So they don't have anybody that's even level 3 or level 2 certified to even work on these things through Nissan. They said you got to call the one in Libertyville, or you got to call the one up north of Crystal Lake or something like that. They have a level 3 guy.
Is that why they didn't cover the warranty? Because it wasn't a certified technician?
We don't know. They won't give them any more information other than this is not going to be something covered because they keep using the OCIs. But he's saying I provided all the information. I don't understand what you're talking about. So
corporate world right there.
Yeah, corporate BS. And when I called up all the different Nissan places, that's what they said. I would love to even look at it for you. Give me a couple hours labor, and I'll tear into this thing and figure out which.
We got to tow it there.
And they said, even when you do tow it here, and you're willing to pay the money, we don't even have anybody certified to work on it.
So bullshit. I had a few internationals that were towed in here. They were not running for over a year, multiple shops, dealership.
Right.
Drove out of here, I was happy, people.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, you know your shit though. That's the thing, is there's a lot of guys that don't experience the variety of what you experience, so they don't get to see all the different diagnostic steps and the way you may look at something different, where they're looking at things by the book. So the downside to a dealer tech to me is we do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, where you're like, no, bro, I've already done all that shit. It doesn't fucking work. Let me take you into the truck and show you what I know.
Or
and
you
you're
just
like,
skip steps because you're already going straight into it instead of going.
And you've done it.
Protocol.
Right. So that's why
Step
I like.
1, check battery voltage. Step 2,
right.
check for any corrosion of it. Step 3, verify that ECU pinout from point B, whatever pinout to point whatever is actually connected.
Right. So that's why I like more of the. Sometimes when I'm really struggling, an independent guy can really come on board and just take you right to where you need to go sometimes.
But don't you like actually, because I know you got access to the forums where, was that the
hotline and all that?
Yeah, well, that tech, whatever.
The tech
all
board?
Data.
Yeah.
Yeah. All data, you got technicians posting bulletins saying this was...
Yeah, I mean, there's that, but then there's actually the Ford message boards where you can go on and talk to the different Ford technicians and stuff and see what they've seen.
Live talk?
No, it's like a group chat.
Okay, so
through
the same thing what I'm talking about.
Yeah, same thing, except it's all Ford guys, and typically you can find out right away. But if it's something new, or maybe if it's something really freaking old, and a lot of the guys that
or some weird stuff,
and nobody's gonna know. But you may have 1 or 2 guys in that group that are like, no, I could figure that out. Yeah, that's my thing. That's how I get down. You know, some people don't like tearing apart a motor, but if there's something weird going on with it, and you like diagnosing stuff, sure, I can tear apart this and put it together all day, but you like the diagnostic part of it. You like to figure out, well, what the hell was it? Was it a cracked skirt? Was it, is this piston slap we're hearing, or some kind of fuel noise, or, fuel delivery issue?
I got a few trucks on my lot right here that have some interesting one. I got a Freightliner Cascadia. Came in, so far, he was hearing a knock in the engine. Mm-hmm. Black smoke started billowing out. So I still hooked up the scan tool anyway. I'm showing some injector pressure rail above normal or below normal. Yeah. There's something rattling on top back.
Yeah. So it's gonna be big money. Yeah, it's gonna be big money.
I'll let you do what you gotta do.
I'm gonna try to start it for the first time right now. It hasn't started, and I've got it full of oil, but I see the leak.
Yeah, I saw fluid over here.
Yeah, but they didn't put the back 3 bolts in the bottom of the pan.
So it was just, I thought that was fuel leaking.
That's that Marvel Mystery Oil. All right, so let's try it. Yeah, it does. Well, that's that wintergreen from that Marvel Mystery Oil. All right. I'm gonna key on a few times. I hear the pump. How much fuel is in here? It's full of fuel. Let's see. I'm gonna get that BG engine restoration kit for 350 bucks. The rep's coming out tomorrow, and I'm gonna run that through this motor. I've saved 2 motors so far. It's that you get 1 gallon of high detergent stripper for the inside of the motor, and then you get 1 gallon of it's like an acid rinse that rinses down all of the metal inside the motor.
And all the carbon buildup, everything.
But it's nasty. If you get it on your skin, it starts burning. You get like rashes and stuff.
You're not worried about hoses, anything with that?
No, because how they've designed it now is it won't mess with any of the cam seals. It won't mess with any of the rear mains. So I wanted to do a test here on YouTube. I took a bunch of cam seals and I dropped it down in that EPR in the morning, and I waited until like 8 o'clock at night, and I pulled the seals out. And they weren't even soft. They weren't even deteriorating. And I was like, dude, how do they do?
Not even like slimy in the sense where they start?
Nothing. So that's what I was worried about. And I was talking to the BG rep, and he was like, well, I can't really tell you what goes into our stuff, but I can tell you that it is 100% safe. So
far, what did you do today?
I just filled it. I just put a gallon of that Marvel Mystery Oil in there. And then a quart of that Lucas oil stabilizer, like the 50 weight, and then 2 quarts of 10W30 from Walmart, the SuperTech 20,000 mile stuff. It's got like higher additive package, and that's it. So now I'm just gonna probably need to pull it inside now before it completely warms up and leaks on the concrete even more.
I'm just telling you, I'll be more worried about that shop floor.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. I just didn't know. I didn't know. I know you've been here longer than me, so you know.
There's a lot of stains everywhere.
Okay.
Like that shop floor, the way I pull my trucks in, I do get a lot of oil on the floor, but because it's so gravel and so much sand comes out, it just cleans out the concrete itself. Over here, I don't think you run through enough trucks or cars or anything. So.
Well, I'm gonna let it run for a little bit then, and monitor the temperature, engine temperature. It does have an engine light on, so I see an engine light. The motor's not real bad right now with noise. Oh, it's actually not running bad at all, man. This is surprising that, I mean, it's misfiring a little bit. You can feel, and the light's shaking. I mean, the vehicle's shaking a little bit. But I mean, for it to just fire right up like that, I'm pretty impressed with that. Let's look at the back of the oil pan down there and see how much is actually coming out of it. Well, now that it's running, it's stopped. Maybe I need to let it keep running with that Marvel Mystery Oil in there. It's probably going to need plugs and coils and valve covers pulled back off and everything else.
You just spilled some over, right?
Yeah, that's all I did. I didn't have this funnel. I had to bring it out tonight, and I was trying to aim, and that's where most of it came from. But I'm surprised that they didn't even want to, I was talking to a bunch of Nissan guys, and the Nissan guys were saying they're having a lot of problems with, was it the Frontier short block and the 5.6 liter short block? that it's all kinds of issues like this where they're just sludging up. There's blow by, and
I know you tested filters. You went through the whole test of different filters and stuff.
I did a shit ton of filters.
But you think that could be something filter issue, or just a lot of?
Who knows, man? This motor is it's pretty decent, right? It's a decent sized motor. It's not huge, but it's a decent sized motor, and they got this little bitty filter like this on there, little tiny dinky thing.
This is why Volvos like E13, that 3 filters, you could do over 1 million miles before overhaul. Cummins, single filter, you 800,000, you're pushing it already.
Really?
It will make it to 1 million.
Wow.
But once again, different. 1 filter that's huge compared to 3 that are so big, but 3 filters, oil filters.
Right, and a lot of guys are running those secondaries on their personal cars now. They're calling them bypass filters. There's something like you got your primary filter, and then you put another set of filters up here on the front of the motor, and now you've got a stock filter system, and the motor never even gets dirty. Like you can just keep changing
that'll be ideal. Right. And a lot of these people now are like, oh well, I hear that synthetics could do 40, 50,000 miles on it.
Yeah. With your trucks?
Yeah,
with your big trucks? Yeah.
I'm saying like, in an ideal situation with the right filter,
yeah,
with the right conditions,
right,
yes, you could.
Right.
Yeah, but you're doing that from the start to finish. The newest engine off the showroom floor.
Yeah.
You start doing it from the beginning. Not when you're 900,000 miles into the actual truck itself, and you decided to go synthetic, full synthetic.
And that's why I try to tell people all the time, if you had a big enough filter, if you had the filtering capability to run synthetic 10, 15,000 miles in these cars, sure.
But the filters aren't there.
You don't have it. You don't have the filtering capacity.
I don't think the filter's there.
No, it's not. And I don't run any of my vehicles. I don't run any of them over 3,000, 3,500 miles. Other people go 5,000. I'm okay with that.
6,000 on mine.
I've seen people do that perfectly fine, but these guys out there that are running 10 and 12, 13,000 miles, come on, man.
Truck average is 15 to 20.
Well, you guys are different. The capacity and the filters, and right. I'm talking general guys on the road.
Well, the general people now, they're wanting to do 25, 30, 40,000 because they hear the dealer saying, oh, with this oil you can do 40,000 miles.
We were out here live streaming last night, and I was pacing back and forth, and I was on here with a lot of the diesel techs, and we all pretty much concur. Like, the manufacturers tell you that you can do that stuff because they want to sell you the vehicle. They want to make you feel like you don't have to maintenance anything.
Well, imagine this. Some of these vehicles, like semi-trucks, they're so warranted for a certain amount of time.
Right.
One of the companies, they just bought 2 trucks, 2022s, Freightliners, and they said 40,000 miles per oil change. I'm like, okay, 40,000. You do that 4 times 5. Guess what? You're out of warranty.
Yeah.
The 5th one.
You're out. So you're dealing with the same thing that we're dealing with.
So that 5th one, you'll make it to the 5th one. I don't see why you want it.
Right.
Well, guess what? The 6th, 7th,
right.
further on,
right.
Your engine's gonna.
Your engine, yeah. They're gonna be in your shop while you're rebuilding it.
Yeah. So same thing, huh?
Same exact thing. That's what they do with us too. They say, oh, you can run that trans oil 150,000 miles, 100,000 miles. The PTU in a 4-cylinder that sits and bakes right behind the motor, right next to the trans, right underneath the catalytic converter. They're telling them, oh, that's lifetime fluid. That's 100,000 mile fluid. That,
Did
yeah.
they make the trans non-serviceable?
Yeah, and the trans non-serviceable. Well, some of them are non-serviceable. A lot of them are just drain-in fills. That's all you can do. You can't change the filter on them. They're buried up in the center of the cases and stuff. So it's I try to get people in by about 40,000 miles to do just basic fluid maintenance when it comes to trans stuff. The PTU is about 20 to 30,000 miles because when I pull a drain plug on them, you see all the metal and stuff on them. So why would you be telling the customer they can run 100,000 miles, 150,000 miles when I'm pulling the plug at 30,000 and you've got metal debris covering it, teeth, chunks of metal and stuff, that bad. So they say a lot of stuff, and they want people to feel like empowered to where I'm going to buy this $40,000 vehicle and then I won't have to go do $50, $60 oil changes.
Well, if they're planning on trading it in within 2 to 3 years, like what the dealership wants.
Yeah. Or the people that lease vehicles. People are like, oh, pre-certified or something lease or blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, you know the person that drove that lease beat the living hell out of that car and probably doesn't care anything about that car. I'm gonna BG flush it with as good as it's actually running right now. I'm just gonna tell the guy, look, I'm gonna grab the kit from work, and I'm gonna actually run through the 3-filter flush.
That's not gonna get rid of that loud ticking. That's
oh no,
the injectors or the lifters.
And he knows it is. But he said if you can buy me time and you can get this thing running, he'll probably sell it. He'll probably sell it, or if it does run good enough, and you know, with oil samples and stuff like that.
Yeah,
if
but he had a lot of sludge buildup. If it was, once you think there'll be some wear.
Oh sure, absolutely. But we'll see after we go through all the flushes and send off some samples and stuff like that where we're at. I mean, maybe this guy could get a couple years out of this and.
It's not building pressure in the cooling system, so it's good there.
Yeah. And it doesn't sound as bad as I thought it would based on what I was being told. But you know how sometimes customers exaggerate things, and we're chasing ourselves looking for something more severe, thinking that we're not actually listening to the right thing.
Yeah, I've told customers, like, is it that you really want me to find something wrong with your truck? Like, because you're telling me, like, your truck is sounding this way. I'm like, dude, a 1,000,000-mile truck. Like, what do you expect? It's not going to be quiet down the road.
Yeah. That's what I try to tell people all the time. You got 150,000 miles on this 5-liter F-150. You think it's going to be completely quiet? It's not. The bearings start wearing. They start losing oil pressure. A lot of guys have to go to a thicker oil just to keep their oil pressure before rebuilding the motor. I mean, it's when you run something like that, and it's a work truck especially, it's not gonna be like you think it's gonna be. I wonder if I did pull that. It doesn't look like it's that hard to pull the cover.
Well, the oil you put in there, you said that there's some kind of mint flavor, smell to it?
Yeah, it's a wintergreen or something like that they put in that Marble Mystery Oil.
Okay, and what does that oil, I'm not familiar with that oil.
What it does is it lubricates the pintle of the fuel injectors. So like if you put it in your fuel, you can use it in your fuel or you can use it in the oil. It's a dual purpose cleaner.
Do you think that stuff works?
Yeah, it does. I've run a lot of tests with it in my you're familiar with the Dodge Magnum motors, like the 5.2, 5.9. The older just anyway, they're dirty motors. The bottom of the intake manifold sucks the gasket in and breaks, and then it starts pulling like a PCV system pulling oil back in. And it junks up the motor, it carbons everything up and stuff like that. Well, I started running that stuff through there inside the motor itself and through the fuel, and the filters that I was cutting open on live, showing people all the carbon that it was pulling out of the motor was unreal. It was absolutely unreal.
I wonder if that would work on a semi-truck.
That's a good question. I don't even know. I think...
Why not? It's the same concept. It's all the same, but like...
And supposedly the theory is the wintergreen or the menthol or whatever, I don't know what it is, I don't know the proper ingredient that we're smelling that smells yummy.
Yeah.
It's supposed to lubricate the closing space, the pintle of the injector as it opens and closes.
Well, the direct injection diesel engine, guess what? You're going to have a lot of carbon.
Yeah.
Any job from taking off, removing head gasket stuff, I got to take the injector out, there's carbon on it.
It's getting quieter. As it's running, it's getting quieter. I'm noticing that the loud noise that I was hearing at the back of the motor is almost not there anymore. Like it's getting softer and softer and softer as this stuff is running through. I don't know. I'm going to try it and see. It'll be an interesting experiment to see how clean I can actually get this motor.
I'd be interested in trying it on a semi-truck, to be honest.
Well, you're the semi-truck guy. We'll see what happens. I wonder if I should, since it's not leaking right now, because because it expanded a little bit from the heat. Maybe that sealed the rest of the back of that oil pan. I wonder if I should.
Did you tighten all the bolts down, or no torque, just a few that?
Well, I reached back there and I was feeling, and I was like, oh, open hole, open hole, open hole. They never even put all the bolts back in the pan. So I got to go to work and take one of the bolts with me. I'll get it in and drain the oil tonight, and then bring some fresh stuff tomorrow, and then
do it all over
actually
again?
Bring the bolts and reseal the gasket, like bring some TA357 silicone and seal that, because it's got the main upper pan and it's got that little bitty small tiny pan on the bottom.
Okay.
And just reseal it, and that way I'll be able to. Do I clean this up, or what do I mean? Do I put pigment? No.
all the shit. Well, they're working on that.
Oh, they're tearing it up.
Don't worry about it. They're gonna have to tear this one up too. So.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna probably try to drive this in there if I can. The brakes aren't locked up. Probably are locked up. He said it's been sitting in his yard for 2.5 years.
Underneath the tree?
Yeah. Underneath the tree. 35,000 or something, right? So, let's just barely pull this down, see if we can get this thing inside.
Do it like a diesel truck, just rev it up to full and see what's gonna happen.
The light's flashing too. I want to figure out what that light is. Probably needs plugs. Probably needs me to go through the ignition system. Oh, sorry, I didn't say thank you for that super chat earlier. I appreciate that, whoever that was. I'm gonna set you guys down for a second while I try to get this in the shop. I don't want it in my hand. I want to be safe. Hey, it worked. It's misfiring though. You can feel it under load, and the lights start. Yeah. Brakes are good. Let's go back out here and
Definitely not burning any oil. And put a new battery.
I stole that out of a Shelby GT500. They wanted a Ford battery and they didn't care about the brand new one that they just put in. So I took a junk one that I had as the core and stole that one and said I'll keep it for myself for the shop.
I'm sure the dealership will charge like $300 for that battery.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, probably 175 or I think the Ford one's like no, the Ford one's like 145. And then if you go to the max, that you get the 5-year warranty, you pay like 165. This one, I think, the last time I seen these, they were about 140, 150 as well. It doesn't sound that bad. There's something, like you said, there is something that I'm hearing over here, but that could be that misfire, that the flashing light. And it feels like that's good.
No pressure over there.
No, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay. I'm okay now. I felt a little bit more on edge than before. Oh, maybe it is smoking, huh?
And now I'm starting to see some.
Yeah, now I'm starting to see smoke.
You are saying that all this stuff is supposed to clean up.
And it's misfiring. When the BG stuff is supposed to clean it up. So I'm going to run that next.
Well, let me know what goes on. I guess I'll be seeing you late nights over here.
Yeah, I've got a couple vehicles. The guy
You
wants
always do this at night?
It's because of the dealership during the day, and once, you know, they got a guy that has a Crown Vic. Him and his mom both have a Crown Vic and a Mercury Grand Marquis. They both need timing chains and guides done, so that's got to come out. And then I got another guy, one of my moderators that's on here right now. He wants his vehicle serviced soon, and then I have two more people that want.
Dealership though.
No, they want to come here. There's a lot of people from here that don't want to drive all the way to Dundee. And I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't take any business from the company I work for now. That if I did take business, it would be people locally from where I'm at. And I'm familiar in this area here, and I've done side work in this area for years, so I know a lot of people here already. So it's a matter of when do I want to fully get my feet wet and do it, versus I'm secure now. I don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah. I know I'm seeing you around the.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, good luck on this one. Let me know how that oil and all that chemo works. I'll be interested. I got a few trucks I could test this on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to smoke.
Yeah, I got a few videos already on some of this crazy stuff that this has done. The BG cleaner, and people's engines come in making noise. An hour and a half, 2 hours later, after running all the cleaners through it and doing the system the way they want you to, it leaves quiet, and the customers.
I don't think any words with gaskets or anything through the turbo with anything like that. This one doesn't have a turbo. I'm
the
sure
biggest.
you didn't try it on the turbo yet.
Yeah, I have.
Have you?
Yeah, the biggest concern is the turbo stuff, but if I've seen nothing come back because of turbo failure. I've seen nothing come back because of.
I'm more concerned about any O-rings.
Oh yeah.
Like all those O-rings. That would be my number one concern, because if those start going, especially off the turbo side that's coming from the return to the supply.
Yeah.
Dude, you're pushing 60 psi when you're revving up
No, I mean I'm not worried about any of that, because we've run it through like twin turbo EcoBoost engines and stuff like that.
So yeah, that's the same concept, man. Same high pressure for the injection, as well as high compression. Because what the EcoBoost is high compression, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it'll well not high compression. It's the well, we have low feed into the high pressure system, and then the high pressure system is a couple thousand psi. So yeah,
a couple more, isn't it?
No, it's
so that F-150 is only a couple thousand off the.
Is it like 3?
Yeah, I was thinking more going up to 10. If that.
What year is yours?
2015.
You might. No, I didn't think it was that high. I'd have to go back and check. I'll check spec.
Because I was looking at the, besides this EcoBoost, I was looking at EcoBoost itself compared to my buddy's 350 F350 over there, the 2020. I was looking at the differences, and the compression ratio to injection was nearly the same.
I'll look at what spec is. I'll look at what like the HPOP test or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll actually look and see what reading is when doing the fuel system test and stuff like that, to tell you what I'm seeing. I mean, I thought it was I could be wrong though. I mean, I don't know. I work on so many different damn things. Like one day I'm working on a 2007 GT500, and by the end of the day I'm working on a 92 Ford F-150 with a straight 6 or something. You know, it just all depends on what they have me on. So I'm mixed up lately. And now I'm on a 350 with the heads off of it and stuff, 6.7, 1,500 miles on the new block. Yeah, the new block went in at about 4,000 or 5,000 miles. They did a short block on it. It made it about 14,000 miles. Started knocking again. They pulled cylinder heads off and stuff.
What's the reason behind that?
Cracked piston skirt.
And nobody noticed it when they swapped.
No, I mean it was a. Then another one came in, or that same motor made it 1,500 miles on the same style block. They just ordered another one, rebuilt it, put it all back together.
No offense, but that's what the dealership's good for. Like, instead of actually looking down at what's going on, what caused it, or like, hey, we need a new block. Call it a day.
The reason the dealership's good for that is because we have people controlling us like puppets.
But you're good for that because you actually have parts on stock. You're not.
Yeah.
Once again, it's a dealership. If say you put a new part in, it comes back, guess what? Under warranty. Blame the manufacturer for anything or.
A lot of times you're right. There's a lot of times that happens.
I'm not saying technicians at the dealership are bad. Like,
right.
There's a lot of good guys there that actually know, but once again, corporate world. You do what the books say.
Okay, so here's the scenario, and this puts it all into perspective and shuts down the entire talking point of the conversation whenever this comes up, right? If Big Boss up here tells little guy what to do, you shut the hell up and do it, right?
Yeah.
So they gave us a block, it lasted 15,000 miles, something went wrong. You tell them what you found, and they say, you know what? It's internal to the block. We don't want to pay you a couple extra hours to tear it apart and see what happened.
Yeah.
We just want to pay you to put it back together with a new block. So they save money.
Well, you know, that whole procedures, manufacturer procedures for diagnosing, you go step by step, and
I'm going to shut it down before it fills the shop up.
Nobody's sleeping in here.
All right, man. You too. Honestly, I don't feel like this is going to be that bad a deal. The pictures that I seen on the vehicle, I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna go open all these doors, get all this, some of the smoke out of here. The pictures that he sent me about how bad the inside of this motor was, oh my God. Just, you guys have seen it on the community post. Just, oh my God, just the full of sludge all the way to the top of the rockers and everything. That doesn't necessarily look like the case. The way it's running right now and how good it's running, we'll see. The motor's probably gone, for sure. The way it's running, the way it's smoking and stuff now, but we'll see. We'll run some stuff through it. We'll clean it all out. We'll see what we can actually get out of it and then go from there. I mean, what else can you do? Let's see. Let's get some of the smoke out of here. And then can't go up very high with this thing. I'm probably only going to be able to lift up the front of the vehicle where it's at, because at a high top it doesn't go up very high at all. So I'll be working on my back tomorrow, but I need to get something up underneath this thing to catch some of this oil and stuff. All right, so I missed a lot of the talk. While we let this smoke get out of here, I'm going to go ahead and... The motor ran good. I'm surprised. It ran really good, to be honest with you. I wonder if I should... All right, so let's go over here. Get out of the shop. Let it air out some. No, I don't have any oil pig mats, but I'm gonna take care of that. I can definitely take care of that. Dude is hauling butt. I noticed it's gonna leak out on the floor. Yep, it's starting to leak right now. You can see here. Look. Coming from right at the back of the oil pan, and it's real slow. No, it's not the main seal. I covered it earlier what it was. It's the back of the oil pan. They didn't put all the bolts in that lower pan at the Nissan dealer. So let me see if I can find some stuff to put down underneath that, at least for tonight, so I don't get oil all over the floor. Okay, I got a couple mats right here that I use for like spills and stuff like that. I'll throw down. I'm gonna set the phone down for a second, and then I'll pick it back up. I'm gonna drop these mats underneath the vehicle. Okay, I got them under there. And we start it up again. I don't know. Maybe we start it up again or just let it sit for a little bit and let it soak in. Alright, so what year escape is it? Remember, you get the coolant intrusion stuff. As many videos as I have out on that and as much watch time as I have all over the world, you'd think there's enough people that would have seen a lot of that by now. It started up. You know, I filled it up probably... I put a gallon of MMO in it, but some of it leaked out because Nissan didn't put all the bolts in the back of the lower oil pan. So I think probably a quart, maybe it's a half a quart, or no, a quart to maybe 2 quarts actually leaked out through the lower pan. But I came back today and topped it off with a quart of Lucas oil stabilizer, like 50 weight. And then I added another 2 quarts of 10W30 in there and topped it off. And it was right in between the low and full. Sucker started right up. Ran great. Ticked a little bit, but as the MMO was running through it, kept getting quieter and quieter and quieter, and once it warmed up all the way, started smoking a little bit. So I'm actually gonna come back, drain everything out of it, and then probably run the BG stuff through it, just run the good stuff. Or maybe I could do a couple of the MMO runs through it, like a couple gallons, like a gallon of MMO, and or like, I don't know, 2.5 quarts of MMO, a quart of Lucas oil stabilizer, and top the rest off with 10W30, and just keep doing that a few times. That would be the cheapest way, just to get as much out as possible, and then run the MMO through it. But it started right up and ran right in under its own power. I didn't even really have to hit the throttle. It's got a little bit of a misfire to it, so I'm worried about that. And it started smoking after what, 15-20 minutes of running. So there's definitely some concern there for sure, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I was down for 2 years. What did you miss? You missed me getting the big beast in the shop. Over there. It started and it ran good. The guy that was over here talking to me, he's the owner of 5-Star 24/7. It's a diesel. He does nothing but semis and trailers, and he's trucks and stuff in and out of here all the time. He's really good. He's young. He's really good. He's got a little bit of a different mindset when it comes to diet and stuff. You know, doesn't claim to know it all. Very, very hyper, young, and just he's ready to make money, man. He's ready to turn wrenches and make money, and he's the same way. He'd just rather do the customer right and and have the customer listen to him when he's telling him about OCIs and stuff like that. But again, the manufacturers, you just heard while we were on live. Look at so much of what me and A-Rod and Rayman's, what we talk about when we're talking about our stuff in our videos and stuff like that. We're always talking to you guys about how a lot of the stuff you're being fed is BS. And he just said it tonight. This is a guy from a completely different side of the business. He's not working on cars and trucks. He's working on tractor trailers back here, lot full of them. Same thing. Yeah, the manufacturer tell these guys they can go 35, 40,000 miles on an oil change. Is it good for the truck? No, it's not. They don't have the filtering capacity for it. They don't have the truck gets hot. It's on the road a lot. Running a full synthetic oil 40,000 miles in the summer is not the brightest idea. Can they do it? Yes, they can. Is it a good idea? No, it's not. Refire request? Okay, fire it up. Just because you asked. Good night. Be blessed. All right, let's start it up. I'm gonna put you up here. I'll put you right here on the engine so you can get the prime experience. You know? Let's see where I want to put this at. See if I can do it right there. Oh, it don't sound bad. You know, I'm not Andy's wood shop. It don't sound that bad. But it could. Thank you, Howard. Yeah, it idled up on its own. It's probably still trying to clear things out and trying to relearn a lot of stuff. It's been down for a couple years. I mean, it's trying to. Yeah, I mean, this exactly like I said. We're gonna have to look at coil packs. We're gonna have to look at plugs. We're gonna have to look at all the basic common sense stuff before we move forward with anything. So that'll be where I start. But look, since we shut it off and let it rest a little bit and then come back on, as it's running and running and running, the smoking is getting less and less and less. So I'm thinking that if we run the BG engine restoration kit through it, those. Could be, yeah, clogged injectors too. So I'm gonna have to get some good stuff in the fuel, because who knows how old the fuel is. I mean, it could be the same nasty fuel that's been in here for the last 2 years. So I'll probably have to get something to revitalize it a little bit, dump in there and try to bring some of that back too. You know, they have like stable and stuff like that, or whatever. AMSOIL has stuff you can dump in it to kind of bring the health of the fuel and stuff back some. So, you know, it's one of those things where it's a process. The first part was getting here, getting something in the vehicle that was going to be of some kind of lubricating, cleaning property, but not too harsh. And that's what MMO is good for. Probably the best stuff on the market for not being too harsh, but yet doing the best job cleaning. That's what it does. We've proved that time and time again. But the combination of the MMO, the oil stabilizer, and just a regular 10W30 oil was phenomenal for this. I thought that combination would be the best thing for this motor after not running that long and being that sludged up. You're going to have something a little bit thicker. You're going to have some kind of lubricating cleaning agent to get things moving if it's not moving, and it can't be too harsh. And then once you get everything moving and get everything hot, then you're going to have something that comes behind it that's pretty powerful to get all that crap out of there. And that's what we're going to do next. Anyhow, that's it for tonight, guys. I really don't have anything else. I just wanted to get this thing running. It's running right now. Now we're gonna get some good stuff through the motor, and that's pretty much it. That was what I wanted to share with you guys tonight, actually getting this running. I'll let this MMO and oil stuff sit in here, and then we'll come back after it sits for a while and kind of softens up and lubricates some stuff and maybe helps with some additional cleaning, and then we'll move on from there. But that's it. That's the show for tonight. I figured you guys would want to be part of this, seeing as we've been talking about it now for over a month, that you would want to be part of me actually starting this thing up for the first time and just being a part of that moment. You know, how many times do you actually see somebody live take you through their life and not BS you, not try to jump cut and edit things and cross things out? I mean, I bring you in my conversations no matter how crazy they sound or what I don't know or do know. It's all there, it's all live, and it's all raw. So I figured you'd want to be a part of that tonight. Oh, are you talking about that headset on Rotunda tomorrow? Watch the video too. Oh, nah. I already know what you're talking about. Hey, even my parts guy came out the other day and was like, did you see that $4,000 or $6,000 headset that you can put on, and it's a direct link to Hotline? So whenever you're looking at a vehicle, you can literally be talking to them in your ear while they're visually seeing the vehicle and walking through the problems with you. You mean to tell me you want to charge me $4,000 or $6,000 for a headset just to do that? I mean, but that's ridiculous. You can make that so much cheaper and so much more affordable for people. There's no way in hell that I'd ever come out of pocket for that. That is absolutely insane. I'm going to open this door up one more time because now smoke is kind of built up in the shop a little bit. But it's I know it's a dealer supply item, but it's just I can't get around that. I understand if I was the dealer, I wouldn't buy it. There'd be no way I'd put on a damn headset for $4,000 or whatever it is. But I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, Cody, I think, isn't it, if a dealer purchased something from Rotunda, you actually get a huge discount? It's not the actual price that you see. It's actually much, much, much less than what actually is stated. Isn't that how it works? Because I think whenever the Rotunda guy came out and he was looking at our equipment and stuff, and he's like, you know, they do have like a new generation of like charging, testing equipment and stuff for the batteries. You can actually get that same setup, but more advanced digital display, better testing and stuff like that. It's like a $4,000 item, but the dealer only actually pays like $2,200 for it or something. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could see how it would benefit, and if maybe that's just my first thought. I'm not a dealer and I don't have that kind of money. Maybe if I did have that kind of money, I'd be more apt to say, okay, I'm all for it. But my initial thought is, what the hell are they smoking? That's just my initial thought. I'm just keeping it real. That's my thought. All right, guys, I need to get the smoking stuff out of here. I need to get everything cleaned up from where I'm at right now, and I need to get home, because I'm going to try to lay down and relax a little bit before I get home. I appreciate you all being here tonight and jumping on and just enjoying this with me, being a part of this as always. It's amazing having you guys here. We crested 30,000 subscribers last night, which is phenomenal, and I didn't have to change a thing about myself. I even told a guy today, what did he say? He said, I dug into you and I found out you weren't a real mechanic and you don't actually work for Ford. Bro, every day I'm live streaming or doing videos from a Ford dealership in a Ford uniform, logging into my Ford account, and I was like, this has got to be the most ridiculous fucking thing I've ever heard. You should probably go crawl in a hole somewhere and just hide for the rest of your life and don't associate with society ever again in your life. And I didn't get banned for it, which I thought I probably should have been banned, but how do you tell somebody, I've dug into your life and I've found out you're not actually a real Ford technician? My service managers in my videos, Ford corporate and Ford guys that work at the engineering level are commenting on my videos all the time. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, people are ridiculous, man. At least I can laugh about it, man. At least I can laugh, because they actually think that they're gonna like trick everybody else into believing you're a bad guy or you're a liar. When you guys are involved in every single part of my life, which sometimes is a little too much, I would have to say, for most people, how do you even troll that? How do you even try to justify that? Anyhow, I hope you guys have a good night. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna wrap everything up. I know you know I'm a Ford tech, because you could probably find out more information about me than I can myself. Anyway, yeah, it is what it is, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all be blessed. I love y'all. Thank you. And again, let's do this again soon.